You would not suffocate tomorrow. If photosynthesis stopped everywhere on Earth, the sky could still look normal while the planet quietly began to die. That sounds impossible. But Earth's atmosphere holds an enormous oxygen reserve. The real shock is that the reserve lasts longer than the life support system that built it. The moment photosynthesis stops, plants stop making sugar and oxygen. They keep breathing, burning through stored carbohydrates like a city living off emergency generators. So what kills first? Hunger. Crops can stay standing for a while, still green, still waving in the wind, but they can no longer build grain, fruit, or new tissue. One growing season is enough to break the world. Feed for livestock vanishes, harvests fail, supply chains choke, and the oxygen crisis is still only beginning. And land isn't the backup plan. In the ocean, phytoplankton stop photosynthesizing too, and the base of marine food webs begins disappearing almost at once. Fisheries don't crash because fish suddenly lose air. They crash because the ocean stops feeding itself, and then its dissolved oxygen starts slipping too. Meanwhile, Earth keeps spending oxygen. Plants respire, microbes rot dead leaves, fires burn biomass and fuel, and carbon dioxide rises because the great green CO2 sink is gone. That's the real nightmare. Breathable air above, system failure below. By the time the atmosphere becomes the problem, the food web may already be gone. A few weeks in, the planet still looks alive from a distance. But fields stop gaining mass, grains do not fill, and the first real shortages turn mathematical. Because this is not just a harvest problem. It is a calorie problem, and once reserves start moving faster than they can be replaced, every supermarket becomes a countdown clock. Then the wild starts tightening. Grazers strip what is left. Seedlings never replace them, and entire landscapes begin living off yesterday's sunlight. So what dies next? First the big eaters, then the hunters that depend on them, because starvation moves through a food web faster than oxygen drops through the sky. And forests do something even more dangerous than dying. They become carbon warehouses breaking open. As deadwood rots, microbes breathe, and more carbon dioxide leaks back into the air. You still would not feel the atmosphere changing on your skin, but the chemistry is already drifting. Less oxygen made, more oxygen spent, and no biological system left to balance it. But if land feels slow, the ocean feels eerie. The sea does not turn empty all at once. It first goes quiet at the bottom of the food chain. When phytoplankton stop building new organic matter, the whole marine menu shrinks. Tiny grazers fade first, then bait fish, then the species humans actually catch. Then comes the second hit, less oxygen in the water itself. Not because the air is suddenly gone, but because production has stopped and decay keeps draining what remains. Years later, the crisis finally reaches the sky. Oxygen is still there, but now it is falling while carbon dioxide keeps climbing. People would not see blue air vanish overnight. They would feel thinner margins first. Harder labor, worse heat, and bodies struggling in a world losing stability. And the planet keeps spending what it has left. Dead forests rot, wildfires flare through dry biomass, and every fire trades more oxygen for more carbon dioxide. So why does the climate get worse instead of quieter? Because the biggest living carbon sink is gone, while respiration, decay, and combustion keep loading the air. Centuries later, the surface world is almost unrecognizable. Complex ecosystems are mostly gone, replaced by scattered refuges, bare ground, and long stretches of silence. But life does not end everywhere. The winners are the organisms that never needed sunlight much in the first place. Deep microbes and chemosynthetic communities. This is the hidden horror of the whole scenario. The atmosphere gives just enough borrowed time for people to watch farms fail, oceans thin out, and the world die in slow motion. Not one dramatic gasp, but a chain reaction stretched across generations. First the food disappears, then the ecosystems, and only later does the air itself become an enemy. In the end, the strangest part is this: Earth keeps looking alive long after its engine has stopped. A whole planet survives for a while on leftovers. But deep below, some microbes endure. Everything else burns through leftovers, then turns to rot. Then heat, UV, and thin oxygen remake Earth. If this changed how you see plants, subscribe.